I usually start with the meditation. We've been talking about the nature of mind. And I have to apologize. Yesterday I still was a bit jet lagged. So if my mind wasn't very clear, I feel a lot better today. I have to remember to arrive at a place a couple of days before. Yeah. So anyway, we're here now. And we've been talking about the nature of mind and how to recognize it. And we touched a little bit yesterday on the different paths, the Sutra and Tantra path. And I think in Tibetan Buddhism, the emphasis is more on the tantric path to realizing Mahamudra, which is the nature of mind. And I think that's a couple of reasons. The main one is obviously it's faster, but it depends on people's predilections. And in the Shunyata path, because we also talked about all the intellectual studies. The Shunyata path, you come to understanding the nature of mind through dialectics, through debate, through study. And so that's where that comes from. And the Vajrayana, or the Vajrayana, it comes to meditation of experience. So neither one's better or worse. It's just more what you prefer to do. And I can't remember, someone said when they come home from work, they're just really tired. They don't want to do any more study. And that doesn't mean you can't work on the nature of mind. In fact, sometimes that's the best time to do it. And in the Mantrayana version, which is the path that I followed, the cause of samsara is the illusory appearances, the false appearances, and a concept, the grasping of them. So it relates, again, we're always relating to the object and the subject. So the object is everything that we see, And so what that means is everything that we see appears to be existent on its own side. And the concept is me grasping it myself as appearing as inherently existent. And so the two of them create our samsara. And in the nature of mind, meditations, the idea is to, if possible, to relax into the clarity of the mind, which is kind of the basic Buddha nature that we have. And the grasping is the mistaken awareness of that clarity. And so this is why relaxing is actually a really good thing, because if we can relax our mind and relax our bodies, then that tendency to contract or grasp around our experience, at the converse, we're less able to do that, and we can be more relaxed and open. And traditionally, in the Mahamudra practice, you meditate by just noticing that everything arises in the mind and trying and to notice how, in actual fact, what we experience is a subjective experience. That everything we experience, but the mistake that we make is that everything seems to be out there. And I was remembering in 2017, we did a month-long retreat with Mahamudra at Sanskrit Institute on Shinrezi practice. And of course, Mahamudra talked every night, but basically he said the same thing every night, which is that, throughout your day, the main things to concentrate on is don't blame other people, don't blame the outside circumstances, and try to recognize that everything is coming from your own mind, and that the I, as much as you can, use your circumstances of grasping delusions to recognize that thing that's making you so tight about everything. At that point is when you can actually look for the I and find that you can't find it. And so in Mahamudra meditation, in the book we talk about that, I'm sure you've all heard about, the non-reaffirming negative, that we don't, it's when you relax into that space and not finding these, you don't go, oh, now this is it. Because you just made another concept out of it. And this is what's so difficult, because we're trying to completely pull back from our conceptual awarenesses. And of course, we're hardwired. That's our hardware, is to be grasping. Because as we evolve, there are saber-toothed tigers and people invading. And so we're constantly on the lookout for safety. This is what human beings do, and this is what neuroscience is proving, that all of our neuroceptors are always looking around for safety. And so this is kind of my interpretation, that as long as we're looking around for safety, we're going to be grasping at inherent existence. And not only are we always looking around for safety, but part of how we survive, how we evolve, is we need other human beings. And so we're also unconsciously, our nervous systems, these things that we're not doing this consciously at all, but we're always looking around to be safe. And where's the next person? And who can I relate to? And so I feel that this is just my personal experience I'm sharing, which is that if we can create a sense of safety and connectivity within our own mind, then it will allow us to be more relaxed and possibly rest into mind's true nature. And I think that's why in Tibetan Buddhism, we're encouraged to have a little place where we meditate, you have a nice little altar, and your little thing where you sit every day, and have a relationship with that place, that you can feel somewhat safe and comfortable. And the whole concept of taking refuge, we're just making ourselves feel safe and comfortable, and like we know we're safe because we're getting out of here, we're getting enlightened. And then the bodhicitta, when we begin to develop bodhicitta, we're always feeling connected to others in a meaningful, loving way. And so those two are the foundation of then being able to. So then whatever meditation we do after that, that's why it's the most basic foundation, is that then whatever you choose, whether it's going to be a Shunyata practice, or just watching your breath, or Shirezi sadhana, which maybe we'll do later on today again. If you set those two things up, now that we understand the neuroscience of it and how important that is, then you'll have more success in recognizing the nature of mind. And so, because our true nature, our Buddha nature, is with us all the time, and everything is manifested out of this emptiness, clarity, luminosity. Everything's a manifestation of that. So it doesn't really matter what your meditation is, just pick the one that you enjoy, and then within that, from time to time, see if you can kind of step back just a little bit from the involvement with it, and experience the space around you and the space in your mind where that experience is coming from. And then slowly, or maybe not so slow, I don't know what everybody's time is, you'll begin to experience this, spacious awareness that we talk about, where things come from. And so the most basic practice is just our basic shamatha practice. So, which actually in Mahamudra practice, there's really not that much difference. It's just that you've evolved to the point where it's not me looking at that. It's I'm experiencing this non-duality of reality. And I was reading an old book by Chogyam Trungpa, found it was from the 1970s. And I thought it was really profound because he said that, because he always just taught shamatha in the beginning, before he would teach anybody in Tantra or anything, they had to do, I can't remember how many hours of just sitting and watching their breath. And he said that when you do that with this quality of gentleness towards yourself, and doing with the experience of learning to be in your body, then that will become the foundation of your shamatha. I think I touched on this a little bit yesterday, but and so then the mind then that's doing the recognizing, it's watching. Am I being gentle with myself? Am I being in my body? What's happening with my thoughts? That awareness, that kind of perceiving mind, will actually become the vipassana, the perception that can penetrate into the non-duality. And I just thought that was really profound, that something as simple as just sitting, can be that. And I know for some people, sitting and being still is quite difficult, and letting the mind just, be with itself. And so then that's why, we have mantras and we have tantras and we have, because then it's really wonderful to give the mind something to do. And then I alternate between, and also I can't underestimate the power of the merit that comes from imagining yourself as a deity, making offerings to the deity. So this is why these practices are the tantra. It's still the deity practices are Mahamudra practices, and they are designed to bring you to Mahamudra practices. And this is why the Long Room is the foundation for those practices, because if you don't have some understanding of bodhicitta, of emptiness, and a huge desire to get out of samsara, then your tantric practice is just an entertainment, I mean, that's not good. And because to understand what the deity is, the deity practice is the antidote to wrong appearances, of false appearances, and conception of I, the wrong conception of I, because in the deity yoga, the two main factors, they call it clear appearance and divine dignity or divine pride. And the clear appearance is once I've dissolved into emptiness, and I feel my body, this essence awareness appearing in the form of the deity, then that will overcome our ordinary appearances of seeing my ordinary body. And I'll begin to be able to, especially if the nervous system becomes energized enough that you feel blissful, then that blissful feeling becomes the clear appearance of the deity, and then the idea that I am the deity overcomes our ordinary concept, because the ordinary I is not the deity. It's when we have relaxed our sense of ordinary I, that emptiness is the sense to identify with that, and so the deity then, and over time then, those two practices will develop into the ultimate Mahamudra realization, where there is no longer a subject. So I just wanted to review a little bit of what we kind of talked about in bits and pieces yesterday. Give it a straight line. So let's just do a bit of meditation, and we'll see how we go with that. And then I promise we'll do the 9-round breathing and these exercises, or these 2 exercises. And I always feel like I should, because Mom always taught this very here. I always thought it was very a very powerful way to overcome our afflictive experiences, and the things that, whether it's overwhelming desire or anger or whatever it is, this practice helps that. So let's just start by, actually we can start with that if we want to. So, well, first let's just calm down. So the first thing we do, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but I was really fortunate to have a very long commentary on the Lama Chokpa. Not time ago, as was so many, I'm like 1984 or 5 or something. You get to the dark ages and get them listening. And the first thing you do before you start to meditate or do anything is your posture and breathing. And that gets left out a lot in our tradition. So let's just spend, a few minutes with that. And the two go together. You can close your eyes if you like, or leave them open. And the first thing we do is just become aware of how we feel inside. If we want to, we can already imagine our object of refuge in the space in front of us. And you can visualize Buddha Shakyamuni or His Holiness or Chenrezig or Tara or whatever you feel a connection with a being or a deity that makes you feel you have a relationship with. But when you think of them, you feel happy and you feel safe and you feel devotion. And we don't have to just know that they're there and just begin to let yourself, as you breathe in, and feel this soothing quality to the breath. And we just notice our spine. And if, maybe our shoulders a little slumped forward, or maybe our spine so straight. And notice the relationship of our pelvis to the cushion. Sometimes it's helpful to move your pelvis around and find a position where, sometimes we're a little bit further back than we need. It's like we're sitting in the back of our sitting bones. But sometimes it's good to occupy this a little bit forward and feel like your sit bones are right on your cushion, whether you're in a chair or not. And this allows them to notice if your belly is relaxed. When all this is sort of just slightly being aware. You don't have to put a lot of effort into this. And if you aren't comfortable sitting up, then I don't mind if you lie down and put your knees up and your back flat. And there's some of the great yogis in India meditating lying down. Not Indian, well, they were in India, the Tibetans in the hills. But she talked to me about a back, and he realized the whole path, just lying down. So it's not impossible as long as you don't get sleep. Because we want our spine to be straight and not too straight. And another thing about meditating is a lot of us in the West think that once we're sitting, we can't move. But in actual fact, the spine, you might want to adjust your posture throughout the whole meditation. And not constantly. So, but that requires us to be aware of what's going on in our bodies. So I would say the most important thing is to relax your belly. And make sure your pants aren't very tight. The top of your pants. It's really good to wear a loose clothing like pajamas when you meditate. Move the belly, that's okay. And so we gently bring our awareness to the base of the spine. And if it helps us to imagine that the prana or the chi that we're breathing in, that's coming in the blessing of our objective refuge, comes in and fills our body with this healing energy of light. And then we can imagine that the stale energy is being expelled down through our lower chakra and into the earth. As we feel ourselves becoming more grounded. And slowly just imagine that your exhale is penetrating all through your body, and lighting up all your cells with joy. And then bring your awareness to the middle part of your body, your torso, the diaphragm area, and your kidneys in the back. And feel like this healing energy from this prana that you're breathing in from the guru, then expands and opens up the middle part of your back. So you can even put your hands on the sides of your rib cage and feel your breath expanding the lower ribs. And breathing into the kidneys in the back. So that our breath is a full breath coming into our whole body. And you put your hands under your armpits and feel your breath touching there and expanding the ribcage to the side. And then bring your hands up to your collarbones and feel your breath there. There's, a lot of us then just let your hands go down and just feel your chest opening. And so many of us, we kind of go around with our chest a little bit caved in because we're kind of, if we're really truly who we are and open up our chest, we feel too vulnerable or we feel too great. We feel too, like what's that Nelson Mandela said, the greatest fear is being how great we really are. And so we tend to go around with this sunken chest and pulling ourselves in to protect ourselves. But when you're doing great. But when you meditate, you just really open everything up because you feel safe and you can be, because our posture, if we're working with divine party, it really makes a difference. If we open up our posture and open up our chest and our body, we feel more divine. Because you're not oh, I'm hiding from the world, which is how I'm. So you open everything up and you breathe into your whole body. And just this act itself is kind of revolutionary. Because we're daring to be great and to be good. And even that can go beyond a sense of self. Well, all we have to do is just pay attention to that for a little while. Breathing and feeling my breath out in my body. And allowing myself to be great. And just be open, my heart, and that allows the heart to be open. Organs are not being squished by a rib cage. And this actually helps our minds to relax because our mental, the thoughts and feelings and the way we feel mentally has to do with the health of our organs. And so if our rib cage is crashed into our liver and our spleen, then our minds are going to be more clouded with afflicted emotion. When we let this the healing chi prana from the Guru also go up into our head. And we feel eyebrows relaxing, ears relaxing. There's a lot of energy in the brain. The jaw relaxes. Back of the mouth opens up. With the very back, you feel like there's a ball of chi there that keeps your jaw slightly open and the tongue and opening. And to open up the area at the back of your throat, then your chin comes down just ever so slightly to give that more room so that the chi can flow up from your spine into your head. Just imagine there's more space between each of our vertebrae. And with this prana, this chi is free to flow. Without getting too concrete about it, we just, with a very kind of subtle awareness, we remember the sentient beings all around us. Family or friends. And you feel that natural, connected care, wishing them to be happy, wishing them, be free from suffering. We don't have to intellectualize about it. We just, it's natural. We just feel this care and love for something being. Because that is also like nature. So as we still feel this awareness of our whole body and our breathing and this sort of state of dignity, confidence that comes from our connection with our objects of refuge and feeling confident and sure that we are bodhisattvas in the path. But it's not really a thought, it's just sort of a feeling that comes from the passion. And when we notice, it allows us to be aware of the space all around us. When we feel this connection with all sentient beings. It's very natural. So we don't have to do anything, we just have to wake it up and aware of it. So then we can add to our experience of being present breathing in our body, which it sort of never ends. Like you're always kind of feeling and being aware, oh, am I now starting to collapse in my upper back, or am I collapsing here? Just continue to allow that that feeling breath to keep your torso open and expanded, and the energy going down your arms and legs and into the ground of the head. And if you like, you can imagine it being the ceiling light, and then let's just choose chin raising. That's the theme of the weekend. Chin raising is holiness, on the God, whatever's the now, whatever's the one that makes you feel light, to light up with the light and love. And that this feeling energy, you can give it rainbow colors if you like, and white and yellow, or no color, but just feeling this subtle feeling of soothing joy coming to you. With the inhale, and fill you up, and then with your exhale, you just let it be. You don't have to do anything, you just let it feel like it's going out from your pores and connecting with all the single beings. Your friends and your strangers. So that your experience of your sharing goes out as far as you can imagine. And also remember that we're doing this practice to heal myself so that I can realize Mahamudra and attain enlightenment person within. Well, when you think that, just kind of notice the grossness of the thought. As opposed to this sort of subtle being, yes, coming with the form of truth and the Guru, and not just into being. And then lastly, we pay attention to this sense of me. I'm feeling the breathing, relaxing, letting my sense of hair expand out to the brain. And just be aware of that. When we sort of penetrate that with this, with itself in a way. So that it feels like if my experience of this spaciousness that comes from being in my body and spreading this energy out to the universe. But within that is the like the ocean. And with each breath kind of expands into this ocean like experience, or sky like experience. And then this kind of the eye, it feels like stuck in the middle of my heart somewhere. Just feel, imagine like it's like the ice cube floating in the middle of the sea. And just breathe into it and just feel it melt. And as it melts, you feel more love and more joy. So then, this is now when we recognize the mind's nature. This spacious feelings, its clarity. And there is awareness. It doesn't necessarily need to be confined in the word. There's just the capacity to recognize I'm breathing, I'm feeling, whatever I'm feeling. And then based on our studies, we just know. We don't have to do the analysis, we just know that it's empty. It can't be found. Because we've done a lot of study that. Or if you want, it's a time when you can analyze, but I prefer to just let it be. Because in letting it be, naturally, this clarity you'll become aware of that. And then if a thought comes, it's just like a bird flying through the sky. So we have two options when thoughts and feelings come. One of them is to just let it come and go. And not following it. And that becomes easier and easier the more we identify with awareness and less with me. Or as soon as the thought comes, we feel its energy. And rather than getting caught up in the story of it, we just feel the energy of that and relax that. So you just relax into the energy where that story came from and just let that go. Wherever, just let it be. And the whole thing works well if we keep this idea of awareness of our body. It's breathing this energy of love, which extends to ourselves as well as to other sentient beings. If our minds are really busy, we just let that be the way it is. However, if you do the breathing, especially into the lower parts of the body, the mind will calm down. And you can experience the spacious quality of mind, of being. And coming into our initiative, right? Stand up if you want to stand up. Absolutely. Promise we do some qigong movement. So why don't we do a little in the last reading? I hope that wasn't too long for you, that meditation. Because I feel like when I talk about start your meditation with your posture and breathing, that's what it means. And you don't have to take an hour to do that, but when you work with that and set it up, then before you start, especially if you're doing tantric practice, if you start with that, then there's much less chance of getting what they call the wound, And I know a lot of people, even some of our dearest teachers and older people who go around teaching the FPT, they don't do tantra so much because they haven't had success with it because they get so much room. And my sense is because we don't teach what I just taught. Room is when you're doing a lot of tantric practice, the mind just gets more congested. Because it's not working with the energies of the body, and you say a lot of mantras, and you just get tension in your heart, or your back hurts, or your mind gets, it's not doing what it's supposed to do. You just get agitated, And a lot of people have that experience. And I think it's because, when the lamas first came to the West, like, oh, these people are so well educated, we can give them all this tantra, but they didn't realize how messed up our bodies were. Because we just sat in desks all our lives, and also we hold a lot of tension and trauma in our bodies. And so this experience of just sitting there, and I mean, I needed to stop because I knew we were getting tired, but what comes next is, after you do that, is that then you just let thoughts come. You don't censor anything. The whole teaching of Mahamudra is no accepting and no rejecting. And so when thoughts come, if you can create this inner world where you feel safe within yourself, that you stop this judging mind, or, oh, you can't have this thought, and this is a bad thought, and I'm going to get negative karma if I let myself have this thought. We're so like hard on ourselves and judgmental. I can't have that thought. The thing is, these thoughts need to come out.
I don't know where that came from. Yeah, some of these free web things give you advertising. So
Yeah. Anyway, I think, can they still hear me? The people on Zoom?
yeah.
So, good. So what happens is you need to let your thoughts come up and not censor them. And let them be there in this safe, gentle environment, so that then these parts of ourselves that have been repressed and stuffed into our subtle nervous system can come out and be liberated. So, and sometimes you just need to listen, and it, like, as if you, like the whole thing of long issue becoming your own therapist, you need to be able to accept the little voices going, because these things that happen to us when we're children, they're in our subtle bodies. And so the more we open up our subtle bodies, the more this little voice will want to come out, and listen to it, feel where it is in your body. And if you can, surround it in love, and then it will slowly, you can talk to it, you can, whatever, but you'll figure out a way. Because especially if you're taking refuge at the same time, if you're sort of letting yourself feel that your breath is the healing breath of the Buddha, then if you sort of just let yourself go to that, like surrender to that higher power, as they say, whatever it is, Alcoholics Anonymous, surrender yourself to that higher sense, because it is your own higher mind. It's not really the guru, it's your, it is the guru, but it's also the guru reflecting back to your own higher sense of self. So when these things come up, if you just kind of surrender them with confidence that they can be healed, then your own inner wisdom will help you understand how to heal that. And then your meditation, because if you really want to get calm meditation, these things have to come up, because they're going to sabotage all of your efforts until you listen to them, because that's what they do. It's just their nature. And so meditation has to be a healing practice as well as what else is it? Because we're just healing ourselves to Buddhism, isn't it? Does anyone need to go to the bathroom, to the loo, to the toilet? Here we are. Where are we in training? So let's go back to where we were with our experiential refuge. She says, the best way to take refuge is without any words at all. Just feel it. So then I'm going to sit like this. If we can go back to the experience in the hollow body. Make sure the belly's relaxed. And the rib cage is somewhat lifted off the pelvis, so you breathe into the side and upper body. There's space on your armpit. You can feel like there's little balls in your armpits, so your arms are up to this. They're not next to you because you want to move your elbows out to the side, like that. And so that the energy can go down your arms, and you can just put your hands on your thighs. And when Qigong, we were working with this area just below the navel, right? So we're going to go back to that place. You don't have to close your eyes, but you do need to feel a lot of space inside the body. And in tantric meditation, there's a thing called a hollow body meditation. And it's actually really important. Because without that, that's how you end up into the sleep. So you want to imagine that your body's hollow and made of light. It's kind of what we did before. I just didn't say it clearly. So you can, when I did long retreats, I read advices from great yogis, and they said that a yogi in a long retreat can spend a whole year just doing this, and then a whole year just finding the object to be included. So it's nothing that comes fast, it's something that you have to work on, or at least become familiar with. So you have this hollow body, and in the hollow body, in order to do the 9-round breathing. Actually, you don't have to. I might as well explain this to you. We imagine that within this hollow body, which with with tantric empowerments, it's the body of the deity. So if you have a deity yoga and you want to quickly meditate on emptiness and arise as the deity, you can. Otherwise, we just have a hollow body. Entertaining the idea that's in the nature of light. And within this hollow body, there's a central channel. And the central channel runs, it's subtle, it's not picked up by, you can't see it. But you can feel it. It's a bit like emptiness. You can't describe it, but you can experience it. And so the central channel we can maybe imagine to be about as broad as a pen or a pencil. And it's soft. And it's not hard. It's made of light. And some explanations say it's unmoist. It's not dry. And this central channel, it starts like your third eye and you your eyebrows. And it goes up like an umbrella handle to the crown of your head. You take your hand and you can feel the crown of your head. It's usually it's a little bit at the very top of your skull. It goes, because that's where your crown chakra is. It goes up to the crown of your head. In fact, it's sometimes a little more sore than the rest of the top of your head. You can find it out if you tap. So there's the crown of your head. So it goes on the inside of the crown of your head, and then it comes down like between your eyes, or more in the back of your skull, and comes down right in front of your spine, all the way down to the tip of your sex organ. And the outside's wide and the inside's narrow. So just imagine that it's there. This is why the position of the head is important. If your chin is up, it sort of blocks the movement in the mouth, as it comes down to your throat. So you want to feel your head just kind of not down, not up, but you can just kind of feel around. You can just sort of feel where your head feels like those muscles are not blocking off your throat. So that you can feel your throat open. That's our central chin. And then there's a right and a left channel, it's smaller, more like the grain of barley, the stem. Maybe a little bit bigger. And if it's helpful to visualize it bigger, you can. And so the red one is, the right one is red, and the left one is white. And it also, but this one starts at your nostrils. It goes up and goes just right along the side of the central channel, all the way down. But in this case, it goes down to just below the navel chakra. And just below that navel chakra, it hooks around and goes up into the central channel. A bit like a little more round shape, with a jelly shape. And then so the one on the left side of the thing starts in the nostril and you go up, and it goes right down the side of the central channel, so that the two hook into the bottom and like that, like pipes, and then to the central channel. And they come around, and right where they hook in is we're going to visualize that's where the chakra is. Okay? And we'll just stop there for a moment. So then the way this exercise works is the idea is that the right channel, and some different people, some different religions say it differently, but for us, we say the right one is anger, and the left one is attachment. Okay. Yeah. I have this backwards, but it doesn't matter too much. No, the right is attachment. It's red is like desire. So the right is attachment and the left is anger. That's good. And so what we're going to do is, in the beginning, I won't introduce it with the device stuff, but we can do it with the device stuff. But first, what we do is we just, we're going to, it's a pranayama, so what we do is we're going to close the right, we close the left nostril, and we're going to breathe in the right side. And you watch the burn as it goes up and down and around. And at this point in time, instead of them hooking up into the central channel, they connect into each other. And so we're going to go in the right and out the left. So you close one to breathe in, and you close the other one to breathe out. And so you're breathing in the right one. And as you breathe out, you imagine all of your aversion energy, everything that causes you to be averted to stuff, hatred, resentment, anytime you're pushing away, that's going to go out and just disappear in space. So you do right, left, 3 times. And then I'll walk us through it, and then you do the opposite. You go left, and then you letting out the attachment imagery, the red one. And then you don't close anymore, and you just let them both come in. And you imagine that the energy goes down and into the central channel. And as you exhale, it comes out the central channel, out through your nose, and that is your ignorance. So first we have anger, and then attachment, and then ignorance. Okay. So we can try that. So just take a big breath. And take your left hand and close the right nostril and breathe out the left nostril. Slowly. And try to feel that stuff coming up, the energy coming up in the base out through that channel. And you close the left and breathe in the right. And imagine it going up and down the channel and crossing the other one. You exhale. Just notice what's going on in your mind, if it's not calm. And if it's more calm, if you can feel this clarity of your mind, empty clarity. There's a spaciousness about it. Remember yesterday we talked about it being spacious, receptive, and moving, and flowing, and grounded. And now, after we've done that, we're going to try the vase breathing. So, what we have our center, this visualization still there. And this time, when you breathe in, we imagine that it comes in from the side channels and hooks in to the central channel. And so we're not paying attention to the central channel at this point below the navel. We're just imagining it ends there. And as these two hook in, right as they hook in, there's a little moon disc. And on that moon disc is a little like flaming ember, like a little coal, when you in the fire, and it's in the shape of just a little sliver, and that's just sitting right here. And so you're going to take a breath, and as you breathe in, you imagine that the air is coming up and goes down and into that central channel, where it will like make that ember glow, like you're going to blow on ember. And so, and to make that happen, then what you do is you breathe in, energy goes down, and with it, your mind, as best you can, is following down so that your mind penetrates into this ember at your navel. And then you're going to use your diaphragm muscles to push down slightly, like when you trying to evacuate your bowels, like pushing down. And then the lower muscles, you're going to squeeze the perineum area and pull up, so that this pushing down and pulling up gently puts pressure on the middle part of your body here, and you imagine that flames that point. And it actually does create some heat after that, but you have to do it quite gently. So you breathe in, and you swallow. As you swallow, you imagine the energy going down to that little flame, and then you press down a little bit with your muscles, the upper muscles, and you pull up the lower muscles, and you hold your breath there as long as it's comfortable. And as you hold your breath, that heat is building up. And then when you exhale, you just exhale very gradually. And just imagine that all that energy is going into the central channel and is absorbing into that ember that you're making. Okay, you want to try?
And your muscles are doing the same.
Oh yeah, you let go of the muscles.
But you compress at the same time.
Yeah, well, you actually push down first, and you pull up, and you hold them and you hold your breath a little while, just as long as it's comfortable. Then as you exhale, of course, you let your muscles go and everything. And then you imagine that instead of your breath coming out, you imagine that the energy is just going in and coming out, right? And this is completion stage practice. This is the beginning of, you've all heard the 6 circles of more opening. So this is how you begin to absorb these gross winds into the central channel. And let me actually talk at the beginning to everybody. This is a good thing to do, because it does calm down your energy, your desire, or it kind of utilizes it. And especially with desire energy, it turns it into a blissful feeling. And with that, then you relax into your, open the rooms. Okay. So you want to try it 3 times? Everybody got the instructions?
You contract your muscles, then you have your breath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you breathe in. And you push down, you pull up, and then you hold your breath. Okay, you just hold your breath as long as it's not too long, because you have to go. Just a little while, and as you get better at it, you can hold your breath for longer periods of time. Okay, let's give it a try. You have to keep your back really straight. This is why it's important to learn to relax the belly, see? So let it start. Breathe in the belly. Swallow and push down and pull up. Oh, and as you swallow, you lock your neck, like in yoga when you have they call them the bandhas, if you know that way. So you kind of close your neck down. Choking. And just relax. So how did that feel? So you can do this before you start meditating if you want to, or whenever you can. Honestly, you can do it on the bus, but so that's that, and you can do it, for half an hour or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but I think Lamiesh used to recommend to start a meditation with that because it helps to dispel. I don't know. You feel I forgot. Let's just stop for a minute to see if your mind's a little more how your mind feels after doing it. So the idea is it increases the bliss that you feel in the meditation. And it takes some practice, but you have to be very gentle with it. Yeah. You can also do it lying down. Yeah, so that's pause breathing. That's they used to call it the seed syllable meditation because you see this little seed syllable, and the idea is to you're not looking at it. You're actually your mind is going inside of it. As best as you can. You just feel your mind going down as everything goes down. And yeah. So it's time to break for lunch. And does anybody out there in the Zoom line have a question about this before we break?
Any questions?
Yeah,
I think we're good. Thank you.
okay. So let's just dedicate, if there's been any merit, hopefully there has been created today to this morning's session, and kind of beginning stages of meditation on Mahamudra, that we can realize the true nature of our mind and be of great benefit to all sentient beings. And just become more peaceful, joyful, happy people. So whatever bodhicitta has been developed, may it arise and grow. And that which we have developed, may it not diminish, but increase more and more. So thank you for the opportunity to share this with you all, and I hope there's been some benefit. So we'll see you at 1:30, right? In an hour and a half, you guys out there. I don't know what time it is where you are, so. An hour and a half. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. So do you have it? Let's read the book with the unit, which means the numbers. We have to like the subject is the number. Yes, but I have to check what they think. Then you can tell them there.
Yeah, I might, I think I might go for a walk.
Yes.
That's very much the fear.
Yes.
What time do you have to leave today, Laura?
I'm not leaving today. Do you want me to leave today?
No. I just thought you might have to go back.
Can I please stay? I'm leaving tomorrow. But I'm sadly, I can't stay here for your session. I'm gonna be at the airport at 12:30.
Oh, that's okay, I wasn't asking that, I just wondered.
I wanted to stay.
Oh,
No, I wanted to be part of it,
yeah,
but that's how it works, and I have to go back to work on Tuesday.
because I was just wondering, I did walk up and that museum's open till 3.
Oh,
So I wondered if
okay.
you wanted to get some, if you, I don't know what you're doing after this, but would you want to walk up and go to the museum?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can go, and whoever wants to come, I thought we could go.
Yeah.
Because I went, I mean, there wasn't enough time to go inside, but it's open.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so apparently they have a lot of nice Tibetan art, right?
Hmm?
Yeah, so if you're not running off, I
I'm
thought,
not running anywhere.
okay, you and anybody else, but I thought particularly you.
And actually, we wanted to hear if you were interested in having some food after the event later in the evening. We would like to go to a vegetarian restaurant.
Welcome back, everyone.
I'll see. We usually don't eat dinner so much at night, so.
Yes, they're chatting about a museum. We'll
Yeah.
imagine being in a museum.
What time? Yeah,
After the museum or something like that.
yeah.
Going to.
See how, I'll see. Yeah, thanks for the invite. Okay. Welcome back. Did we lose anybody? I think we did. Oh, Namo Madhu Shri Namo Shri Namo. Om Namo Shri Namo. Namo Namo Shri Namo. Om Namo Shri Namo. Namo.
Well, if y'all had a nice break and some nice food. And I thought that we'd start this afternoon with hopefully, I think all you people, maybe you have it. It's just this one called the Padmasambhava prayer that you sent out.
To everybody, Tara, it's uploaded it and
Yeah. So, yeah,
share.
yeah, yeah.
I sent it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, it's probably just click on, I think it says Padmasambhava prayer. So this is, well, I think the second time it's just the chanting version. The first time was the one without the English chanting.
Okay. They look identical.
They do look identical, but they're not. Or maybe they are. I don't know which one you got.
Oh, so I don't read it, but I've got about 3 things here. What's the name of the file?
Padmasambhava prayers. And
Like that. No. No problem. A great FT basics and final.
What's the name of
Something.
the-
I don't know. I didn't find it.
I didn't have any fun. I had to find another player, but not from the house. No one? There was no.
No, so not a special name.
does Tara have it?
No finding.
I sent it to Tara.
Yes, I have it. Do you want to share the screen?
Yeah,
On yesterday,
Yeah.
there was no time.
I'm sure
Yesterday in
he
the morning.
sent it.
Yeah.
Yesterday morning he sent it.
Just when you sent it to me, I sent it out in a second mail.
I
only
didn't
see
find
one
no,
of
there
them.
is not such a file. A great
That's weird.
file.
No,
No,
I
they
received one.
Well, maybe just listen then. Let's not worry about it. Yeah. So, and if you want to, you can come around here and look at the screen. Or she could flash this thing there. Could you turn the,
it would be too small anyway.
yeah. If you want to come look at the words, you can. Some people have it. Anyway, this is just, chanting is, it feels good. It opens your heart. It's singing. Everyone loves singing, And it also, excuse me, there's all this, it's really cool, all this neuroscience now. It's just proving everything that Buddhism has been saying forever, But when people chant together, they kind of get group regulated, it's like the whole group kind of synthesizes, I think is the word they say. Or not, is that right? Anyway, they come together. And which is why, people love going to rock concerts and, rallies and nightclubs, because everybody gets that connected feeling that human beings thrive on. So anyway, we can do this. Let's just set our motivation. So I thought I'd share this with you. There's a Lama called, what's his name? Kempo Siltram Gamso, who's a Kagyu Lama. And when I first went to hear him give a lecture, I thought that he was teaching the Chittamatra view, so I never went back to it. But that was before I knew about Shinton and Rongtong and these different, anyway, he's a good teacher with a lot of different things, even though it's slightly different than how we teach emptiness. And he has a strong connection with Milarepa. And so if you go to his website, there are all these songs there that they've translated and put to music. So this is the one that my friend Yeshi shared with me, and I'll share it with you because if sometimes it's just really nice to sing. So I'll see if I can do it well. It goes like this. Well, let's just take refuge first and motivate our session this afternoon that we can come closer to enlightenment and learn how to embrace all of our sufferings and feel other beings and have more and more compassion for ourselves and others, and eventually attain enlightenment. And may we experience this ground nature of our Buddha nature, our true nature. Which is beyond thought, beyond concept, beyond emotion, beyond time, beyond space. Not permanent, not impermanent, not dependent, not interdependent. As they say in the Prajnaparamita Sutra, it's gone, gone, gone beyond. And yeah. Okay, so this goes like this. I'm a little bit shy. Well, I get it every time I'm shy. It's like, oh, there's that object to be refuted one more time. So it's actually not a bad thing to be shy. Okay, here we go. All these things that appear for eyes that see, all these things on the inside and the outside, the environment and its inhabitants, appear and let them rest where no self's found. Perceiver and perceived when purified are the body of the deity, clear emptiness. To the Guru, for whom desire frees itself, to organ Pema Jugni I supplicate. So you can sing it with me. It's just the same tune over and over again. All these sounds that arise for ears that hear, taken as agreeable or not, let them rest in the realm of sound and emptiness, past all thoughts, beyond all imputation. Sounds are empty, unarising and unceasing. These are what makes up the victor's teachings. To the teachings of the victor, sound and emptiness, to organ Pema Guru I supplicate. All these movements of mind towards its subjects, movements that make 5 poisons and affliction, leave mind and movements beyond contrivances. Do not review the past nor guess the future. If we let moving mind rest in its place, it liberates into the Dharmakaya. To the Guru, for whom awareness frees itself, to organ Pema Jugni I supplicate. Grant your blessings that purify perceiving mind of mental operations seeming outside. Grant your blessings to liberate perceiving mind of mental operations seeming inside. Grant your blessings that between the two of these, clear light will come to recognize its own face. In your compassion, Sugatas of all 3 times, please bless me that a mind like mine be free. Please bless me that a mind like mine be free. Please bless me that a mind like mine be free. In your compassion, Sugatas of all 3 times, please bless me that a mind like mine be free. So that's a good little teaching on what we've been talking about. So, yeah. I find it really helpful to sing this in the morning, or I got out of the habit of doing it, but it's a good one to do. So now that we did that, I was just going to see if anybody has any questions. And then I thought we'd do the Chenrezig Guru Yoga, because we started with that, and I thought it'd be good to end with that, because I think I mentioned the first night that really to realize emptiness, to realize the nature of mind and self and reality, this is the path, is these practices, this Guru Yoga path. And when you supplicate, which means when you pray, to the Guru, really sincerely, and open your heart, then blessings will come. And I think I didn't say this yet, but another thing I learned from Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, not directly, but from one of his books, he had his advice for this meditation when we're sitting and looking at mind, like we did earlier this morning. He was the one that also said how important it is to be in your body and being gentle with yourself. So his advice with meditation, which I read some years back, but I thought was so helpful. He said, because meditation is a holistic experience, the thing is, what we're so used to is just linear learning, we learn something, it stays in our mind, and we spit it out again. So it just sort of all stays in this level. And but Buddhism is not about that. It starts with that, but it's a holistic experience. It's something you feel with your whole self and your whole body, and it liberates, your emotions and your body. And that's why they talk about body, speech, and mind. It's the whole self. And it starts with, you read about it, and it's a bit like, I know Mingyur Rinpoche uses this. He says, it's like looking at a moon in a book, I can't remember exactly, but it's looking at it in the book, and then maybe looking at a reflection of it in a lake, but then actually seeing the real moon, or even feeling the real moonlight. So in the beginning, we're just looking at it on a book, but you definitely don't want to let it stay on the pages of the book or in the verbal discussion in your mind. It needs to filter down into your heart and into your body. And in order to do that, I'm just repeating myself because I think it's important. So what he says is that the four things you need to kind of keep in your holistic experience of meditation, because if you just get caught up in the cognitive situation of it, that's how you end up getting lung and sick, and doesn't really help you, so you need to like feel it with your body and your heart. And so he said, one part of your body is always being aware of this breathing in the body business, like we spent some time doing this morning. And another part of your mind is always making sure you're gentle with yourself. And so the point of our relationship with our attachment and our aversion, if we're always trying to push it away, it'll never be healed. We need to invite it into this environment of gentleness with ourselves, so that it can not feel like it's a stranger, like it's not. I think the best way you deal with a naughty child is I don't really know, I never had kids, but you hug them and hold them, don't like punish them, And so rather than like punishing yourself for having these emotions, embrace them and let them be okay. And then they'll slowly, as you add loving kindness and emptiness to them, they'll slowly begin to get less and less and less. It takes some time. And then he said, another part is actually doing whatever the meditation is. So that's you're watching your breath, or you're, saying a mantra. But then he said so you divide it into four parts. The fourth part is just being completely open, like keeping your heart open and trying. And it's kind of hard to explain, but it's just sort of like being open to possibilities, so that a blessing can pop in your mind. You know, so you have to be a little bit, part of you is like not so confident. I mean, you're confident inside, but another part of you is just open to receiving, like you're not kind of too expecting, you know, like, and, you know, expecting this to happen or expecting that to happen. Just try to be present and let whatever's going to happen, happen. And, you know, most of the time it's not going to go what you think. But the main thing is just show up and do it. Some days you'll have nice blissful meditations, other days you don't, but you just keep with it because the mind's constantly going up and down. But what happens is after watching it go up and down, you begin to see there's a substrate, a place where it all comes from. And as you become more familiar with that, and you can then begin to understand that that's emptiness, that's how you can get into experiencing the nature of mind. So it's really important, you know, and Tilopa's advice to Naropa was, don't be involved in the past, don't be involved in the future, don't have expectations, don't just, I mean, there was more of them, but just be there, you know, and just be present with what's going on with an open heart, to not push anything down and just let it all just sort of flow, you know. And another advice from Trungpa Rinpoche was, he said, with our discursive thought, he said, our discursive mind is like a wild bull in a field, in a pen, you know, and a wild bull will run around and around and around, but eventually it'll eat all the grass and lie down and go to sleep. And that's the same with your mind. If you're trying to control your mind and stop your thinking, you know, this is, you know, it'll always just be wanting, you know, but if you just sort of can sit back and just watch it go, you know, all the things it's doing, and try to relax into the space between your thoughts or penetrate what the thoughts are, then slowly your mind will open up, and it'll become more and more, your refuge will be inside your own heart. You know? So I think that's kind of a third summary of what I have to share. That's it. So, okay, does anyone want to comment or disagree with me or debate that, or? Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
You mentioned yesterday that we can think of kind of, there's the object, there's the subject, and we can put them, our mind, something between. That is the good practice.
Yeah, that's what His Holiness said.
Yes. And
how do you do that?
so now it is for the everyday, no?
Yeah.
As I'm walking, then I'm not concentrating here, not there, just in the somewhere in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're thinking, and it'll be like when you're walking around too, you can sort of just like relax your seeing. Like Lama Yeshe, when he did his Mahamudra book that Rabina put into print, and she edited it. He said the best way to see is not seeing. The best way to hear is not hearing. And what does that mean? What it means is you're not really grasping. You just let it be there. You can walk along the street. I mean, you have to watch where you're going, obviously. But you can just sort of let all the sounds and sights just kind of let them rest where they are, and be a little more focused on the mind that's kind of apprehending them, you know, because we automatically go out to it, you know. So it's almost like, if you could draw a picture of it, it's like pulling back just a little bit. Yeah, I know Sugna Rinpoche, he says, it's not out there, but it's not in here. It's somewhere, you know, there. And you just have to work with it. And I think the main thing is just really pray to the Guru, you know, because it's a blessing that will come. You know, you'll be meditating, suddenly, I'm sure there's some great words in German of bing, you know, they have so much better words, you know, when the light bulb goes on and you have a little experience, you know. And those little realizations, they add up over time, you know. Yeah. Does that help?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Lars.
This example with being like an ice cube that melts.
Yeah.
Is that simile like the one of being like a mindful fish? Is this the same soul method?
No, not exactly. The mindful fish is looking at the eye, but the ice cube is the eyes just dissolving.
All right.
So when one of them, like you're looking at it, and then the other one is you're being it, and then it just it just goes, I don't know how to say. But it's just, I don't know, I just find that really helpful.
Mhm.
You know, feel your mind like a giant ocean and your sense of self as being this little ice cube.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it is the truth. I mean, it's like one idea is that, you know, the mind is like this. Oh, that's one thing I didn't tell you guys. Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe I will tell you. I think there's 5 or 6 metaphors. Someone should write these down. Maybe I can type it to you and send it to you.
Yeah, we're also recording it, so we can.
Yeah, but
That's
that you know, the founder of the whole Mahamudra tradition that we know about, I'm sure there's more, was a meditator called Sarha. You ever heard of S-A-R-H-A, Sarha? And they are his songs, because the great Mahamudra meditators, they left songs and poetry. They didn't write treatises like Dignaga and Dharmakirti and, you know, those guys. And Buddhapalipa, not saying that's not good, but and so so anyway, he left these, and I've worked with him my whole life about how to look at the mind. And let's see if I can remember them. So the first one is like the sun unobscured by clouds, just like you were telling me, up above the clouds, there's a bright sun. So always, you know, underneath, I mean, you can figure them out. And the other one is the ocean without waves. And the next one is the bird that leaves no trace as it flies. So when a thought comes along, you know, you just let the thought come and go, you know, you don't have to follow it, you know. And that's all right. I'll send them to you. You don't have to write them. Just listen. I meant to send it this morning, but I meditated too long. So we have the sun unobscured by clouds, the ocean without the waves, the bird that leaves no trace as it flies. Then there is the child looking at a temple mural. So that means when a little child looks at a tanka, just see shapes and colors. They don't necessarily go, there's Buddha. So you just look, you know, with shapes and colors. And then there's one called this cotton thread. So a soft cotton thread means that your meditation is strong. You know, like you know, it's left from the drop spindle days, you know, and they would spin, and the best wool is very soft but very strong. So it's like that. And there's one more. Let's see, what is it? Maybe I'll think of it in a minute. Oh, the flight of the Garuda bird is the last one. And that means that the Garuda bird is like an eagle. And the way it flies is it flaps its wings and then it soars. And I sort of think of it, the way I like to think of it is riding a bicycle. You know, when you ride a bicycle, you pedal, 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 and then you just coast, and you pedal, pedal, and you just coast. So that's relating to the amount of effort you use in your meditation, because that's the hardest part, is to get the right amount of effort. Because if you put too much effort into it, you get tense. If you don't put enough effort into it, your mind's lazy and going all over the place. So the soar of the Garuda bird is like getting it just enough, like it's like driving, just putting on the gas pedal just enough. You don't want to give it too much gas, you know, or petrol. What do you call it here? Anyway, enough fuel. And so that's what that one relates to. So if you think about these things, they're really helpful in your meditation. At least I've found that they are. Yeah.
And if you send those to me, I will distribute
Yeah.
them as well. I also found the outline from the Pussy Lama that was given to the FBT group in Copenhagen from Glenn Larson.
Yeah.
And he said, please take it so we can get it.
Oh, the Mahamudra outline from his book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one to have. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I taught this in Copenhagen a long time ago. And I was the first time I ever did it. And I used it completely. I just used that text, you know. But this time I just did it more, you know, just ad lib kind of. But because I don't know, I just felt like doing it that way. But yeah. But that book by His Holiness is a good book to study. And I think someone, I don't know if it's my wishful thinking, but I think somebody else has done another translation of it very recently. Or maybe it's a translation. It's not necessarily His Holiness's commentary on it, but maybe a commentary on it. You know, because the Panchen Lama has an auto commentary. He made a commentary on it himself. So
Yeah, I found Alex Ferguson's book quite difficult to, at that time, it's 7 years ago, I found it difficult to really understand.
yeah, I found it too. Even just recently, I mean, I've read it a few times, and I read it again last month before I came here. And it's just his language. I don't know what it is, you know. I think it can be said a little bit easier than he says things, because you have to read him and think about it and what's he meaning, you know.
Yeah.
I know, I think it's because he's a linguist, you know. He really, he's very precise, but sometimes it's hard to interpret it, you know?
Also because it's not my native language, so
Yeah.
there are several words that I really need to, they don't come automatically.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just the words, it was the way he put the sentences
It's the way
together.
I've been translating Alex Ferguson for years
Yeah.
in Italian, and you
Yeah.
really struggle because he has a very complex
Yeah.
sentence structure, and
Yeah.
it's really difficult to make something
Yeah.
understandable out of it.
That's exactly
Before
right.
translating.
He's just too smart for us, is what it is.
It's very bright.
No, he's
It's
a
the
genius, you know, but it's
yeah.
just the way he thinks is like, we don't think that way, so could you put it in our?
He gave some wonderful teachings online from the Copenhagen Center about emptiness, really extraordinary,
Yeah.
wonderful. You can find them online.
Oh, cool.
Really brilliant.
From you mean they're still on YouTube or something?
YouTube, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, his Mahamudra teachings are really, 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 really
Yeah, yeah.
good. Yeah, I'm just sort of the baby steps, but I feel like baby steps is good for us too. Yeah,
I guess that's why Lama spoke on Mahamudra Venerable, Venerable edited. It's so nice and easy to really just get it easily.
yeah. I'll say one more thing and then, you know, I guess we can go a little bit over 3 if it's okay with people. But it was really interesting because when I was in my last long retreat, I started reading Trungpa Rinpoche's Mahamudra books. He's a great Kagyu Lama, yeah. And I found them very helpful. And because I wanted more than just, you know, look at the object to be refuted and rest in emptiness. I mean, I needed something more than that, you know. So anyway, so I developed the strong desire to be able to go and receive some teachings from him. So I'll just keep the story short. I managed that karma ripened. And it was so funny because I got to these teachings, I was expecting it, these Mahamudra teachings. And he said, the first day, he said, he said, I've been teaching Mahamudra to you people, because that's what the Karmapa, the 16th Karmapa told him. That was the best teaching for the people in the West. You should teach everybody Mahamudra. So he did it for 30 years. And he said, and this was, I don't know, this was quite some time ago, 15 years ago. And he said, I've been teaching Mahamudra to you for 30 years, but I can tell by the questions that you come to me, your personal questions, that you don't understand it at all. And that even though you can say you can do Mahamudra throughout your work, but it's easy enough to say this is all empty and doesn't do anything. You know, so you know what he taught? He taught Lam Rim. So I went all the way across the ocean, you know, to get these Mahamudra teachings, and I just got more of death and impermanence, perfect human rebirth, suffering of samsara, karma and its results, bodhicitta, you know, and I just cracked up. So it's like we can think about Mahamudra and it's this big goal and everything, but really, you know, where we are is there, you know, with these teachings and working with our relative existence and creating the cause to realize Mahamudra in the future. But it doesn't mean we can't play with it, you know, and work with it. So yeah, I thought that was great. At the time I was really disappointed, but yeah, okay, we have time for any more questions out there? These people are like, no questions. Dan, you don't have a question? No, guess not.
I think he had to pop out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
No,
said he
yeah, and I said Jen. I think I can see Jen's face.
yeah, there's a Jen. And
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was Jan. Sorry, I misheard.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
Okay. Nobody here have a question? Otherwise, we'll just do the Guru Yoga again. And we'll just read it because I didn't send out the chanting one. And
You sent it to me, but I didn't.
no, we don't need to. I thought if we did it again, we just read it because actually the words are quite nice.
Yeah. On the web and also still on there.
When you sent.
Yeah, yeah, right there, yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So just remember what I said yesterday about as much as you can, depending on your level of experience, as you go through the sadhana, recognize the field in which everything's happening, your mind. So, okay. Is she coming back? So we wait?
Mars. Which one are we doing?
May I ask, is this the sadhana from Friday night?
Yes, yes.
Should I screen share it?
If people need it, yeah, why not? If you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah, to the web.
So that's not what you sent. It wasn't.
No, no, sorry, I sent the one.
Does everybody have it?
Yeah.
I am.
We're using the one from.
For Friday night.
The same thing we did Friday night.
The one on the web page was not the one she was reading.
I know, but now we're reading the one that was on the web. No, so it's good. You see, I like paper because everybody's got a piece of paper. There's no fuss, no muss.
It's correctly. People like that.
No, it's okay. I'm just playing. I couldn't look at a little tiny thing like that anyway. I don't know how you do it.
Should make it bigger.
Yeah.
I noticed it's very in that one.
It's like,
Look, I didn't
It's
send
very
it out.
in to look at anything.
oh, okay.
People do it all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I noticed that too. People seem, pretty soon, people are gonna be born with their phones on their hand.
Robots.
That's too much.
Yeah, little tiny kids, they all have phones now, Well. Okay. So I think we're ready now. So we'll just pause for a moment and relax a bit. To my spiritual master, Avalokiteshvara, the full moon-like essence of the Buddha's vast compassion and the radiant white nectar of their all-inspiring strength, I pay my deep respect. Oh no, that's, you don't have to read that. That's just the preface. Let me turn the page. So this first page here we'll do in the Sanskrit and the Tibetan, and then the rest we'll do in English. So we visualize His Holiness in the space in front of us, the Dalai Lama, and in his heart is Chinrezig, and in Chinrezig's heart is the moon with the seasonable Shri with the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum around it. And yeah, understanding He's the essence of all the Buddhas, the teachings of the Buddha, and the Allah Sangha, we take refuge. Namo Guru Namo Buddhaya Namo Dhamma Namo Sanghaya Namo Guru Namo Buddhaya Namo Buddhaya Namo Sangha Namo Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Sam. And remembering our parents and our family and friends and enemies and all sentient beings. And developing a strong wish for all sentient beings to be free of their emotional afflictions and karmic causes and condition that keep us all circling in birth after birth with aggregates controlled by delusions and karma that cause so much harm and suffering, and also joy. Don't forget, we do have temporary experiences of joy and happiness, but we'd like for them to be the pure bliss of enlightenment. So for this, we're going to do this practice and pray to His Holiness to please bless my mind and keep me in your care for all lifetimes until enlightenment. And we're also motivating this with a long life of His Holiness, that by doing this Guru Yoga, it causes his life's force to be stronger. Sangye chodam sogi chonam la jangchu bardu dagi jab suji dagi jen so ki pe sonam ki trola penchir sangye druparsho. Sangye chodam soki chonam la chanchu bardu dagi kyab suchi dagi jen soki pe sonam ki trola panjir sangye druparsho. Sangye chodam sogi chonam la chanchu bardu dagi kyab suchi dagi jen soki pe sonam ki trola panjir sangye druparsho. Let's just do it one more time in the English. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until enlightened, I seek refuge through giving and other perfections. To aid all, may I become a Buddha. Oh, you didn't have that translation. Oh, well. So like we did the first night, we will just, instead of doing it 3 times, we're going to do it 1 time each, but meditate on the meaning after each time, or the feeling. Hey, all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. And we stop there. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from desire for friends and hatred for enemies. Everywhere may the ground be pure, free of the roughness of pebbles and so forth. May it be in the nature of lapis lazuli, as smooth as the palm of one's hand. May human and divine offerings, actually arranged and mentally created, clouds of finest Samantabhadra's offerings fill the entire space.
We have a slightly different version again.
Oh no.
This is the official version from the FNT.
This is the one that we used. I'm sorry, I didn't send it to you. This is the one that we used in France with Kajula.
Okay.
You don't have that part?
No.
Do you have-
It's slightly different.
Do you have the
Maybe
offering
yeah,
cloud
yeah.
mantra?
Yeah, we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do the offering cloud mantra. Om Namo Bhagavati Vajrasavarpamajana Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Jaya Cha Om Vajra Vajra Maha Vajra Mahate Mahavijya Vajra Maha. Om Namo Bhagavati Vajrasavarpamajana Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Jaya Cha Om Vajra Vajra Maha Vajra Mahateja Mahavijaya Vajra Mahabodhi Chitta Vajra Mahabodhi Mandapa Samkamana Savarkama Avarana Visadana Vajra Soha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasavarpamajana Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Jaya Cha Om Vajra Vajra Maha Vajra Mahateja Vajra Mahavijaya Vajra Mahabodhi Chitta Mahabodhi Mandapa Samkamana Vajra Savarkama Avarana Visadana Vajra Soha. By the power of the truth of three rare sublime ones, the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great wealth of the completed two collections, and the sphere of phenomena being pure and inconceivable. May all these piles of clouds of offerings arising through transformation of the Bodhisattvas, Arya Samantabhadra, Manjushri, and so forth, unimaginable and inexhaustible, equaling the sky, arise in the eyes of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions be received. Okay, well, does the next line of yours say, in the space of the Dharmakaya of great spontaneous bliss? Is that what it says? Well, probably the rest is the same then, maybe
Yeah.
just the beginning, because I think this other stuff, Lama Zopa put on the front anyway. Okay, so it should be the same then. So here we go. Visualize the spiritual master in the front. So that the commitment being is him, and the wisdom being is Chinrezig, and the concentration being is the free. Wonder what that says. In the space of the Dharmakaya of great spontaneous bliss, in the midst of billowing clouds of magnificent offerings, upon a sparkling jeweled throne supported by 8 great snow lions, on a seat composed of a lotus in bloom, the sun and the moon, sits supreme exalted Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion, assuming the form of a monk wearing saffron-colored robes. O my Vajra master, having all 3 ways, O holy Losang Tenzin Gyatso, radiant smiling face, your right hand is your heart, in a gesture expounding the Dharma, holds the stem of one white lotus that supports a book and a sword. Your left hand, resting in meditative pose, holds a 1,000-spoked wheel. You're clothed in the 3 saffron robes of a monk, and are crowned with a golden pendant. Your aggregate sensory fears, senses, objects in your limbs, are a mandala complete with the 5 Buddhas and their consorts, male and female bodhisattvas and roundful protectors, encircled by a halo of 5 brilliant colors. My master is seated in the full Vajra posture, sending forth a network of cloud-like emanations to tame its well sentient beings. Within his heart sits Avalokiteshvara, a wisdom being, with one face and 4 arms. His upper 2 hands are placed together. His lower 2 holds a rosary and a white lotus. He's adorned with jeweled ornaments and heavily raiment. Over his left shoulder, an antelope skin is draped. Let's just stop for a moment and set up that imagination. And really connect with the actual Dalai Lama. That his subtle body will come and be with us and be with you on Zoom in your room, wherever you are. And if you've ever been with His Holiness and His presence, just remember that. Let me offer the 7-limb prayer. Your liberating body is fully adorned with all the signs of a Buddha. Your melodious speech, complete with all the 60 rhythms, flows without hesitation. Your vast, profound mind is filled with wisdom and compassion beyond all conceptions. I prostrate to the wheel of the 3 secret adornments of your body, speech, and mind. Mental offerings, my own and of others, the actual objects and those that I visualize, body and wealth, and all the virtues amassed throughout the 3 times, I offer to you upon visualized oceans of clouds like Samantabhadra's offerings. My mind being oppressed by the stifling darkness of ignorance, I have done many wrongs against reasons and vows. Whatever mistakes I have made in the past, with a deep sense of regret, I pledge never to repeat them, and without reservation, I confess everything to you within the unobservable. So we just stop for a moment and just think about the things in our lives that we would like to release. The habits that we have that caused us harm in our lives and the lives of others. All of our sort of hair trigger trauma reactions, the things we can't control. And then all the imprints left on our minds that can ripen in the future as more disharmony and suffering for myself and others. So in a way, we offer this all up to His Holiness, knowing that in the Dharmakaya, everything is pure. Rejoicing. I just want to interrupt, just say one thing, if one of the things that happens sometimes with us is we have something that's really sad going on. And if it invokes, like you start to cry, then we have a tendency to stop our tears. But if you're alone and you can be in a situation where you can just have a really good cry, sometimes that's just a really good thing because it lets the emotion come out. So confession, is a time where we can, if you can, it's a blessing to be able to cry. A lot of us can't cry, but if you can cry and you can let the tears flow, they're healing. Yeah. So there was that bodhisattva that was always crying. So I know we all have a tendency to stop it up, so let the tears flow. And then from the depths of my heart, from the depths of my heart, I rejoice in the enlightening deeds of the sublime masters and the virtuous actions past, present, and future performed by myself and others. and by ordinary and exalted beings of the three sacred traditions. Then we stop and rejoice. We've all heard Lama Zopa. How wonderful it is, and rejoicing in all the people who've realized Mahamudra, overcome their afflictive emotions, and just all the wonderful things that so many people are doing. Parents and social workers and doctors and lawyers and teachers, researchers, engineers, everybody. House cleaners. Artists, musicians, meditators, geshes, yogis, and rejoicing in our own virtues as well. And we make the requests. I request you to awaken every living being from the sleep of ordinary and instinctive defilements with the divine music of the Dharma's pure truth, resounding with the melody of profoundness of peace, in accordance with the dispositions of your varied disciples. Please place your feet upon the Vajra throne in the indissoluble state of Ivam, until every sentient being gains the calm breath of joy in the state of final realization, unfettered by the extremes of worldliness or sense liberation. I dedicate fully my virtuous actions of all the 3 times, so that I may receive continuous care from a master and attain full enlightenment for the benefit of all, through accomplishing my prayers as supreme deed of Samantabhadra. Just really mean that one, you know. We want that. And the mandala offering, the ground anointed with perfumes, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha feel and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. This offering I make of a precious jewel, call moon, together with the pure offerings and wealth, and the virtues we have collected throughout the 3 times with our body, speech, and mind. O my masters, yidams, and the 3 precious jewels, I offer all to you with unwavering faith. Accepting these out of your boundless compassion, send forth to me ways of your inspiring strength. Idam Guru Rana Mandalakam Niryatayami. From the free in the heart of Avalokiteshvara, seated in the heart of my venerable master, flow streams of nectars and rays of the 5 colors, penetrating the crown of my head, eliminating the obscurations, endowing me with both the common and powerful attainments. Now I want to do this a little bit differently. I want to request the graduated path and then do the mantra, so that that's a really long request. And then when we say the mantra, we're imagining that that request is being actualized when we say the mantra. Okay, so do a little backwards. So now we make the request. Bestow on me your blessings to be devoted to my master with the purest thoughts and actions, gaining confidence that you, compassionate holy master, are the basis of temporary and everlasting bliss. For you elucidate the true path, free from all deception, and embody the totality of refuges past number. Bestow on me your blessings to live a life of Dharma, undistracted by the illusory preoccupations of this life. For well I know that these leisures and endowments can never be surpassed, countless treasures of vast wealth, and that this precious form, once attained, cannot endure, for at any moment of time it may easily be destroyed. Bestow on me your blessings to cease actions of non-virtue and accomplish wholesome deeds by always being mindful. The causes and effects kind and harmful acts, or revering the three precious jewels as the ultimate source of refuge, and the most trustworthy protection from the unendurable fears of unfortunate rebirth states. Bestow on me your blessings to practice the three higher trainings, motivated by firm renunciation gained from clear comprehension, that even the prosperity of the Lord of the Devas is merely a deception, like a siren's alluring spell. Bestow on me your blessings to master the oceans of practice, cultivating immediately the supreme enlightened motivation, by reflecting on the predicament of all other sentient beings who have nourished me with kindness from beginningless time, and are now tortured while ensnared within one extreme or other, either on the wheel of suffering or in tranquil liberation. Bestow on me your blessings to generate the yoga, combining mental quiescence with penetrative insight, in which the 100,000-fold splendor of voidness, forever free from both extremes, reflects without obstruction in the clear mirror of the immutable meditation. Bestow on me your blessings to observe in strict accordance all the vows and words of honor that form the root of powerful attainment. Having entered through the gate of extremely profound Tantra, by the kindness of my all-proficient master, bestow on me your blessings to attain within this lifetime the great blissful union of body and wisdom, through severing completely all my creating karmic energy, with wisdom's sharp sword of the non-duality of bliss and voidness. So now we go back and say Holiness's mantra.
And there's also different versions of this. In this one, there with the red, that's I think it's the newest one.
Yeah.
The Batarak. So Amaguru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri. I don't know which one you're going to use.
Friday we did the red one.
That's okay.
Mama Guru Vajra Batarak
Yeah.
Manjushri. Yeah, that's what I have to.
Good. That's the new
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Excellent.
Mama Guru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Shri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Shri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Shri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Shri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Shri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Manjushri Vajranda Sumati Jana Shishana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. Oma Guru Vajradhara Batarak Shri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Patarak Manjushri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Patarak Manjushri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Patarak Manjushri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Patarak Manjushri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Patarak Manjushri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Patarak Manjushri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om Om Guru Vajradhara Patarak Manjushri Vajenda Sumati Chana Shashana Dara Samudra Shri Vajra Sarvasiddhi Om. And then we just feel that our body's full of this blessings of 5 colored nectars. And we feel like our body and mind is just clean, clear like a crystal. And now we do the blending of the mind, my mind with the Guru's mind. So my Supreme Master, requested in this way, now blissfully descends to the crown of my head and dissolves in the indestructible point in the center of my heart. So now we do the blessing of the Guru. So just, you can put your phones down. And from the crown or the brow chakra of His Holiness, white nectars and rays come and enter into the crown of my head and go throughout all the channels of my nervous system, filling my body with white light. And I feel that my body is purified. And this includes the 6 sense consciousnesses, my eyes and ears and nose, taste and touch and mind. And that innate activity of grasping at what it perceives as being outside of myself and inherently existent, that's completely purified. As well as the deeper level of the innate I, that because there is an awareness of something, we mistake that manifestation of clarity to be something truly existent, especially the first one is me. And so that's also purified. So the gross body is purified, and then the experiences of mind and awareness is emptiness and clarity and the manifestations. And that as these appearances arise with our sense consciousnesses, they just appear as illusory appearances, not because there's an appearance, there feels like it, there's a grasping in an eye. So that's purified. Feelings still come, appearances still come, but we don't have to contract around them and think that they give them the power to have control over us. They're just clouds in the sky, waves on the water, reflections in the mirror. So my whole experience of the phenomenal world, body, self, environment is purified. The inherently existent self, body, environment is purified with this white light from His Holiness, His blessings. And I feel bliss. And this bliss recognizes emptiness. It recognizes is the wrong word, but this bliss is in the nature of emptiness. And then red nectars and rays from His Holiness's throat go into our throat chakra and fill our whole body with red light. All the subtle winds that pervade my body are purified. Those winds that move, that then manifest through the clarity as emotion, feeling, thought, experience. That tendency to contract around that is also purified, a more subtle purification. And it creates the cause for me to perceive the subtle winds or to experience the illusory body, the body of a Buddha, the subtle wind of the Buddha. Again, I feel bliss, emptiness. And then dark blue nectars and rays come from His Holiness's heart into my heart, completely purifying this cognitive capacity of mind. That awareness that perceives itself to be truly existent. And what's left is the clear light. And then all three all together, white, red, and blue, penetrate my whole body. And this plants the seed of the union of the illusory body and clear light, the subtle wind and mind. Cognizing its own emptiness, thus becoming the mind of a Buddha, the subtle wind and mind of a Buddha. And all these karmic imprints that cause us to experience inherent existence in its gross and subtle form is completely purified. What's left is great bliss, cognizing emptiness and experiencing vast space. And I think my mind is inseparable with the mind of His Holiness, Chinrezi. And then moved by the familiarization with bodhicitta, my own mind then reemerges as His Holiness on a moon and lotus. Within his heart is Avalokiteshvara or Chinrezi. If that's too complicated, you can just see Chinrezi in your heart, knowing that's the same as His Holiness. So we have Chinrezig in our heart, and in the heart of Chinrezig, it's the letter Hri on a moon, on a lotus, encircled by the 6-syllable mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. And as we recite the mantra, the nectars flow from the Hri in the mantra, eliminating and destroying all obstacles and diseases. All sorrows, aggressions, resentments, in the minds of ourselves and others, and grows our experience of the meaning of the scriptures, the knowledge and the insight. And we receive the blessings of the victorious ones of their Buddhas and their children. And then that fills up our whole body with this rainbow light. And then after we're all filled up, the light rays go out and cleanse away all the sufferings and disharmonies of all sentient beings and the environment. So we can think about global warming. And as we do that, we think to ourselves, I'm attaining the supreme yogic state, transforming every appearance, sound, and thought into the 3 bodies of the Buddhas. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Padme Om Mani Mani Padme Hum, Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme. Mani Padme. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme. Just imagine those light rays going out, solving all the problems on our planet. The physical ones, economic, spiritual, social, political, and the hearts of every single sentient being be filled with warmth and healing and loving kindness, including ourselves. And then just take a moment to rest in that spacious, open awareness. It's in the nature of love. And feeling that love permeate our entire being, healing all of our hurts and sorrows. And healing everyone in this room, everyone on our Zoom friends. Just seeing them all bathed in this golden light of love. And then we can just dedicate. It's 3 o'clock, time to stop. The bell rings. So we can read the dedication together. In the glorious 100th-fold thousand radiance of the youthful moon of wholesome practice, from the blue jasmine garden of the victorious treasure mind's method of truth, may the seeds of explanation and accomplishment germinate and flower across this vast earth. May the ensuing auspiciousness beautify everything until the limit of the universe. By flying high above the 3 realms, the never vanishing great jeweled banner of religious and secular rule, laden with millions of virtues and perfect accomplishments, may benefit just pour down, having banished afar the dark weight of this era's degeneration, across the extent of the earth's sapphire held by celestial maiden. May all living creatures overflow with spontaneous age and joy, the significant encompassing brilliance of happiness and bliss. In short, O protector, the power of your affectionate care, may I never be parted from you throughout the rosaries of my lives. May I proceed directly with the peace and effort into the great city of unification, all-powerful cosmic state. By the force of the immaculate compassion of the victorious ones and their children, may everything be at first managed for eternity throughout the universe. May all beautiful omens become increasingly auspicious, and whatever virtue around this existence, tranquil liberation, flourish and grow brighter like a new vaccine. And then we can go to the Kopan prayer book and just do these simple dedications. Page 129. Page 130, and there will be page 139. Just do this. Yeah, we can just do number 2 because we've done a lot. We've already dedicated a lot of dedication, so we'll just do. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has not arisen decrease more and more. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Sometimes simple is good enough. So then, and let's just dedicate for the flourishing of this center, and that's you know, the director and the SPC, and that you always have enough money and people come, and that you're able to be a shining beacon of light, not only in Zurich, but it seems like all over the world now with this amazing Zoom. So for that and for all the centers everywhere, and that they have the staff they need and all the resources they need, and that the people who wish to practice have all the inner leisure and outer leisure that they need. And of course, we pray for the children of this world and all the creatures of this world, that they don't inherit a planet that's not livable. And if we can do something about all the obstacles to changing our lifestyles. It's pretty hard to change, but maybe something can happen. So let's hold that hope. And of course, for the long lives of our gurus, and for the flourishing of the Dharma, and for the, you know, Western Dharma to be authentic and supportive to people today, you know. So let's just do the long life prayers for His Holiness and Lama Zopa. You know, if you don't know them, they're on page 139. Gangri Rawe Kowe Shinkam Der Bandan Dewa Malu Jungwene Shenre Zewang Tensen Gasoyi Shape CJ Vardu Tengyur excuse me. Cho Shu Jam Jam Gyan Galway Zen Kyong Pelwe Kunzo Dobo Zen Chosun Kukwele Ontu Dru Adan So Du Jegon Du Chao So then we just, you know, pray for long lives of all of our teachers. And if you turn the page, let's just read Shantideva's prayer. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds, and may those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored upon finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious things. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill be quickly freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. As long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel. So then fusing our dedication with emptiness and rejoicing. Okay, thank you. Hope you've had a good weekend, all you people out there in Zoom land and everybody here. Yeah.
Paula, I have a question regarding Qigong exercise.
Yeah.
This morning, is the sequence important?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's advisable to follow
Yeah,
the sequence. like
yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah, because some of them just sort of wake you up and like that last one, and yeah, it is sequences
Okay,
of
yeah,
them.
we watched it.
And those Qigongs, a friend of mine made a website for me. It's called braveview.org, and those videos are there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a shorter one and a longer one, and it's mostly the same ones. Yeah.
Also, some people on Zoom ask for handouts if they were available for to see both the posture and maybe explanations. But
You just have to.
But you will make available the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. The recording will be
So
available.
probably the things, just listen to the recording again and write it down.
Yeah.
I don't have any handouts.
Good.
I'm sorry. It's always different every time anyway.
It is.
Thanks very much,
Yeah,
Paula.
thank you,
Thank you
Jess.
so much
Yeah.
for coming here again.
Yeah.
There is something small from us. So Nina said you like cooking and organic food. So
Yeah.
I brought you something small.
Okay,
And we
great.
will collect all the donation and then transfer it to you.
Okay, great.
And we hope that you come again to us again and again and show us the little baby steps towards healing ourselves to Buddhahood. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you so much, Lars, for all
Yeah.
your work,
Yeah.
and thank you so
Lars
much,
is
Maria.
I wish there were more Larses because
One must be nice, must emanate.
because all the little centers need a Lars.
Yes, nothing would have been possible without the wonderful team, Maria, Andrea, Teres, Christian with the videos,
Yeah, but
Sarah online,
yeah,
and Sabine, and
yeah,
Wolfgang giving food, and
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
without the team, there
Yeah.
would be no
Yeah.
center. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much.
so much for-
Yeah, and I guess unless if anyone, I'm gonna go to the museum. If anybody wants to go with me,
I was
We can have a
thinking
cup of
we do
tea.
a private